Hello, children. Today we are going to explore yet another interesting story in English. That is, The Night I Met Einstein, which is a brilliant article written by Jerome Widman, an American playwright and a novelist. In 1960, he won the Pulitzer Prize for his work, which was a musical drama titled Foirello. One of his book named I Can Get For You Wholesale was also made into a movie. In the article, he has penned down his most unusual experience of his meeting with the great scientist Albert Einstein. It is a beautiful story that offers a lesson in music from the most brilliant mind in the world. Many of us do not know him to be a creative mind and a music lover. This story really captures the persona of Einstein, who was a passionate violinist, and shows us to help and address the problems facing classical music. The narrator, Jerome Weidman, tells that how he has learned to appreciate music just because of Einstein. So, children, I will be explaining you this lesson passage wise. Let's see the meanings, the hard words that are there in this passage. Philanthropist means a person who seeks to promote the welfare of others, especially by the generous donation of money to good causes. Hostess means a woman who receives or entertains guests. Pianist means a person who plays the piano, especially professionally. Tone deaf means unable to hear the difference between high and low note of music. So, children, now I'll begin with the explanation for this passage in front of you. So, children, Jerome Weidman mentions of a time when he was very young and he was invited to have dinner at a philanthropist's house. And after dinner, they were taken to a large drawing room by the hostess, and where chairs were being arranged. The hostess later said that the chairs were arranged for a concert, that is, a performance of music by singers, and they were about to listen to a very good pianist, someone who plays a piano. Everyone around was happy for the concert, but the narrator wasn't, as he did not understand classical music. So, children, classical music is a kind of music that is composed by musicians who are trained in the art of music. These kind of music are only instrumental, that is, just the music and no lyrics, as we have in the modern times. He believed that he was unable to hear the difference between high and low notes in music. That is, he called himself as tone deaf, as it was going to be a classical music concert. He did not leave the concert and sat down because he did not want to disrespect the people around there who were all loving the concert. He sat, and when the concert began, he did not pay attention to the music as he did not understand it. Then suddenly everyone was clapping, so he thought to himself that maybe this music was over. Then someone sitting beside him asked the narrator, that is Jerome Wiedemann, in a gentle voice, if he liked Bach. So, children, Bach is a kind of German music which is created by using different music instruments, especially the organ instrument is used. So, children, you can see the picture of Johann Sebastian Bach. He was the one, a German organist and composer of the 17th century. He was a person who used to create music of Bach. I'll begin with the explanation for the passage that is in front of you. Then the narrator says that he knew about Bach as much as he knew about nuclear physics. So, children, it means that the narrator did not know anything about Bach as well as nuclear physics. He just lied to his neighbor who asked him and replied this to the person who asked him about Bach, so that he could get out of that situation. So, as he turned to look at his neighbor who was sitting beside him, then he saw that the person who was sitting beside him was a very famous personality who had untidy mass of white thick hair on his head and had a smoking pipe on his mouth. The narrator thought that he must tell the truth to him about him not liking Bach. His neighbor looked at him with great interest. So the narrator told him the truth that he did not know anything about Bach and he had never heard this music before. To this, his neighbor gave him a surprised look, asking him, "You have never heard of Bach?" Surprisingly. So the narrator thought that his neighbor is asking with so much surprise about not knowing Bach that as if he had never had bath in his life. Okay, having bath. The narrator told his neighbor that he would love to learn music so that he could understand Bach, but wasn't able to understand it. Why, children? Because he was tone deaf. He didn't understand the high and low notes of music. So, children, let's see the meanings in this passage. Gramophone means a machine for playing recorded music. You can see that in the picture. Bing Crosby is an American singer and actor. You can see the picture of Bing Crosby. So, children, I'll start with the explanation for this passage. So, here the old man, that is the neighbor who was sitting beside the narrator, got up from his chair and requested the narrator to come with him. The old man, that is the man who was sitting beside him, took the narrator to the above or the top floor in a room that had a gramophone and asked the narrator of which music did he like? The narrator answered, saying that he liked songs that had words and music which he could understand. The old man moved his head up and down in agreement and asked him to give him an example accordingly of which music he exactly liked. The narrator told the old man that he likes to listen to the songs of Bing Crosby, who is an American singer. So the old man started playing that music or the songs by Bing Crosby immediately on the gramophone. So here you can see the picture of Einstein, who was a passionate musician who began playing the violin at a minor age of 6. So children, now I'll begin with the explanation for the passage that is in front of you. So here the old man asked the narrator of which song did he just hear. He gave his answer by singing Bing Crosby's song. That is, the narrator sang the song to the old man. To the old man smiled at him and told that he wasn't tone deaf. To this, the narrator said that this song that he sang just now was his favorite song and had heard them hundreds of times, and it doesn't prove anything. The old man, that was Albert Einstein, agreed. No children, he disagreed. Okay, so the man, that is the old man who was sitting beside him, disagreed with the narrator and tried to make the narrator understand by giving him an example. He asked the narrator if he remembered his first arithmetic lesson in school, and that if his teacher has ever asked him to solve big problems, long divisions or fractions just in the beginning or the first lesson, then would he be able to solve it? No, right? Similarly, music is like learning maths. One has to first understand addition and subtraction in order to do multiplication and subtraction. After giving this example, he said that now he would be playing an even more advanced type of music. So children, in this passage, we have one name, that is John McCormack. He was an Irish American singer. So children, you can see the picture of trumpet. Now I'll begin with the explanation for the passage in front of you. So children, Einstein, that is the old man and the neighbor, had played an advanced type of music by John McCormack, and the name of the song was Trumpeter, and ordered the narrator to sing the song back to him. In this way, Einstein went on from playing the easiest music to the highest level of music, which had no words at all, just the instruments with its tunes. The narrator was very amazed at the fact that this old man was taking so much interest in him so that he could learn back, which was new for the narrator. At that moment, The narrator felt as if he was the most important person to Einstein in the entire world. Then, all of a sudden, Einstein got up and turned off the gramophone and said to the young narrator that now they were ready to listen to the concert of Bach. They went downstairs and sat in the hall where the concert was going on. And Einstein told the narrator that he just needs to allow himself to listen by keeping his ears and mind open. That was all needed to understand Bach and love it. So children, here we have another passage. I'll begin with the explanation for this passage. The narrator says that after that day, he has heard to this music, that is Bach, a number of times, and it had always been in the company of that old man, that is Einstein. The writer or the narrator always felt the presence of the old man next to him whenever he enjoyed that music Bach. When the concert that day they had been invited to come to an end, that means the concert they had been invited to had come to an end. So now the hostess came to them and apologized to the old man. Dr. Einstein had missed so much of the concert, so that is why she was apologizing. Dr. Einstein replied to the hostess with great satisfaction that the narrator and he were engaged in the greatest activity which a human being is capable of. The hostess inquired with great surprise what that would be. Dr. Einstein replied that it was to open the frontiers of beauty. Einstein believes making others understand the joy there is in knowing the beauty that is all around us. For Dr. Einstein, children, opening the minds of others to the application of beauty was the highest form of human activity. So children, from this lesson, we learn that Einstein had a keen ear for music and the narrator was tone deaf and could not understand music. Einstein was patient and polite and taught the narrator to appreciate classical music. Okay children, with this we have now completed with the explanation. I would ask you to read the lesson for better understanding. Thank you for listening children. Take care.